Hi everyone, Ian from DIY Home and Gardening. We are just into September and well, the big bush behind me needs pruning. It's an olive tree. So let me turn the camera around and just show you. So it has got a little bit wayward. This is my mum's garden and I planted the olive probably 10-12 years ago. Normally I prune it for her each year. Obviously didn't last year because of a lockdown type situation at the key points, but it does desperately want some pruning now. So with an olive tree, there's a lot of information out there that says about pruning start of spring or into midsummer, which is perfectly true if you're wanting to grow it for, or try and grow it for the olives. But in the UK we generally don't get the fruit formation, or we might get fruit formation but it's certainly not hot enough, long enough summers for it to ripen. So therefore just view it as an evergreen shrub tree, which then means that you can do your pruning from May through to end of September, at a push into October, but generally not past the end of September. Now with olive trees, they are evergreens, as I just said. They are quite happy in a nice sunny position. They will tolerate a part shade position, but you'll find that the growth becomes a lot more extended and you won't get the flower. It produces a small white flower followed by the fruits, but that only forms on the newer growth, and it won't flower and fruit on the same growth each year. So these sections here that have produced the flower and then gone on to, well, produce these very tiny embryo olives, if you left that on, this shoot on, it won't do the same next year. There are only flower and fruit on a different piece of growth, and again on new wood. So say when you're doing your pruning, you can treat it slightly different. Where to start then? So we always start same as everything really. Start by removing any obvious dead, diseased or damaged wood. Quite straightforward. Then you can start by, well, depending on the type of structure you're trying to form, well then I suppose to note how you're going to prune it. For this one, where it's been grown as a bonsai type bush, a multi-stem bush, then we'll be thinning the crown a little bit, but more importantly taking some of the height down. If you've grown your olive as a standard, so that is where you have a single stem coming up with the head on the top, then you then keep the stem clear of all growth and the top would be trimmed. But yeah, that's as simple as it gets really. So let's start and say we'll start by whipping off those couple of bits of damaged and then move on to the other bits. So all you need, clean sharp secateurs. If you're doing some of the thicker stuff, then the pruning saw. And say as we're into early September, you don't want to go too mad on it, and really when you're looking at it, you don't want to remove more than about a third by way of volume. So that's what we're aiming for. So as I say, because this I'm trying to maintain it as being a multi-stem bush, we start by removing your internal crossing stems, and then we can then work out as to what height we want the clear stem to be. So we'll just remove some of these bits and open it up. By opening it up, we'll create a bit of open canopy to the base, but also, well, reduce the amount of disease problems if it was a normal tree. Having said that, olives don't tend to get too many pests or diseases. The only pest that they sort of suffer from is a little bit of mealybug from time to time, but aside from that, that's it. Let me carry on pruning. So as you can see, I've just sort of cleaned the crown up a little bit, removed the crossing branches, slightly nipped back some of the sides. Now to tackle some of the top. As I say, because we're aiming only to reduce the volume by about a third, means that probably come down about 2 foot in terms of height, maybe a little bit more, but that'd be the most. Right, so as we're doing our pruning, you want to prune so you're just above a leaf joint. Nice clean cut. See where you're at, see whether that's actually the piece you want to leave on. In this case it would be no. You want to look to prune to essentially an outward facing bud, so then that way when you make that cut, like so, these buds here, or these sections, will then take over for growth, which will mean that you're promoting growth away from the centre of the plant. And so that's what we'll do. We'll just continue going across, trying to balance it out a little bit in terms of height, and graduate the height downwards on the edges, just so it looks more natural. So I just sort of show you whilst I'm, well, final stage of taking the top out really. You can see how much it's come down by, and obviously graduating down the sides just makes it look a little bit more natural, as you don't want to butcher it too much, and we're still able to retain a lot of the fruit or flower that has been on it. And because we've not taken down not removed a third yet by way of volume, as you can sort of tell, it does still give you scope to then manage some of the sides, just to take those in a little bit, with the view then really that we'll bring the height down and the size down next year. So let me just finish the top and then show you. There we are, so that's the height down. Now just going to tidy up the sides, not going to remove a lot, just a little bit of width. So again, just looking at some of these sections, in order to remove the width, rather than cutting every single stem back or side shoot back, what we can do is you can prune down to the next pair of leaves like so, and then that actually will take it back for you. So again, with this, you've got extended section there, remove that, and it keeps it as a natural looking plant, because you're cutting back to the leaf joint. The leaf joints, because with olives, they produce a double pairing pretty much all the time, as you can see there, so they always produce a double pairing. So because of that, when you do your prune, the prune is always masked by the leaf joints themselves, so it does mean that you're able to snip back quite readily to remove some of the width just by cutting back to a leaf joint, and you don't even notice it, and it looks nice and tidy. So that's what we'll do. We'll just work our way around the whole plant, just coming back by a couple of pairs of leaves, which will in turn reduce the width of the plant, and that will be sufficient. Well, that's it, we are done. So I'll just show you around so you can have a little look. It looks nice and natural still, no issues. We've cleared out the centre of the plant, so it feels like a nice natural olive, and yeah, really with a view that we can then reduce the height a little bit more next year. And we've managed to do all of that by removing just that small amount of foliage really, so job well done. So as always, thanks for watching the video. Hope you found it interesting. If you've got any questions, then please do send them over to me, and I'll do my best to answer them for you. subscribe to my channel if you like what I'm doing. Don't forget to hit that reminder button so you don't miss out on all the future videos that I'm doing. And most importantly, just have fun in the garden, enjoy this lovely bit of weather that we're finally having even though we're now into September. But yeah, till the next time, see you soon, bye for now.